Okay, page 68. So up at the top, it says classwork graphing from slope-intercept form. So we've learned about slope, we've learned about y-intercepts, we've learned how to calculate slope, we've learned how to write equations. So today we're kind of going the opposite way. We're going to take all that information and we're just going to graph it. Okay, so number 1 says, on the following coordinate plane, draw a line with a slope of 1/3. Which means I can choose anywhere on this coordinate plane. So let's say I just pick a point right here. Okay, now I need a slope of 1/3, or I think 1/3. I notice it's positive. So I just go up 1 to represent this one, and then I have to run 3. So remember, rise over run. So I got to run 1, 2, 3, put a point. Okay, when we're drawing lines, we want to make sure we have 3 points. Otherwise, you could draw a line with 2 points and not even notice that you made a mistake. With 3 points, it's pretty easy to see. So I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to go up 1 and then over 1, 2, 3. Put my 3rd point. Okay, we're now going to go ahead and use your straight edge and connect them. And there we go. Okay, so letter B asks, what did you do to draw your line to ensure that you ended with the slope of 1/3? So all we did, we went up 1 from the original point, then ran 3 to the right. So we went up 1 from the original point and then ran 3 to the right. Okay, number 2. Draw a line with the slope of -2. So again, go ahead, pick any point because it's not telling us where to start. So maybe I'll pick right here. And then it's a slope of -2. So because it's a negative, that means I'm going to fall 1, 2. And -2 is the same thing as -2/1. So anytime it's a whole number, you got to put it over 1. And I'm going to have to run to the right. Okay, I fell down and I run to the right to make sure I have a negative slope there. Okay, it's only 2 points, so I need to repeat. So 1, 2, and then to the right, 1. All right, use your straight edge, connect them. Make a nice big long line. Put arrows on the ends. And there's a line with the slope of -2. Okay, so what did you do to draw a line with the slope of -2? So we went down 2 from the original point, then went 1 to the left. I'm sorry, 1 to the right. So we went down 2 from the original point, then went 1 to the right. All right, let's turn the page. So number 3 says, well, hey, now I want you to graph this whole equation, y equals 2/3 x minus 1. So look at letter A. This is what we should always do. This is step number 1. Find the y-intercept. And I see that back here. So the y-intercept is -1. Step 2, find the slope. And we see that always in front of the x. So that's 2/3. Okay, for me to graph this, all I do is I start with the y-intercept. So y-intercept is -1, and I put a point. My slope is 2/3. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, and then I have to run to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. Put a point. Okay, we need to repeat. So 1, 2, and then run 1, 2, 3. Put a point. Use your straight edge, connect them. Maybe your line hopefully is better than mine. Put your arrows on the ends. And there's our equation, y equals 2/3 x minus 1 being graphed. Okay, number 4. So again, start with the y-intercept. So I see it's here back here. It's +1. What's the slope? It's the number in front. So anytime it's a whole number, I'm going to just drop it over 1 because that's going to help me when I count and graph those points. Okay, so I graph starting with 1 on the y-intercept. So I put that 1, and then I look at the slope, it's positive. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. And then I'm going to repeat. Up 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. Use your straight edge and connect. Nice big long line. Arrows on the ends. Okay, number 5. So find the y-intercept. Notice there's nothing back here. Well, there's nothing back there. That's the same thing as saying plus 0 or minus 0. 0 is not positive or negative. But if you don't see a number back there, you know the y-intercept is at 0. Okay, what's the slope? Well, it's that number in front. So it's negative 3/4. Okay, so when I graph, I start at 0. It's my y-intercept. So put my point right there. Okay, I have a negative slope, so I'm going to drop 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to run to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I need to repeat that process. Drop 1, 2, 3, and then run to the right 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your point. All right, now we need to go ahead and just connect those. Make a nice big long line. Arrows on the ends. And there's the equation y equals negative 3/4 x. All right, let's turn the page and look at number 6. So anytime that you see an equation like this where it's not written in what we consider slope-intercept form, it's not proper form, move it around. So here, instead of saying y equals negative 2 plus x, I'm going to flip that. I'm going to say x minus 2. The x is positive, and this negative 2 goes in the back, which same thing is minus 2. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. I want you to write down m equals and b equals. So we're identifying the slope and the y-intercept. They just don't have it written down for us. So we're going to write it down ourselves. I always look for the y-intercept first. So b is negative 2. Then I look for the m. You don't see a number in front of that, but remember, you've been taught if there's no number in front, you can drop a 1, which means my slope is 1. It's a whole number. So I'm going to put 1 over 1. Okay, to graph, we start with our b, our y-intercept. We go down on the y-axis, put a point at negative 2. My slope's positive, so I'm going to go up 1, over 1, put a point. Then I'm going to repeat. Up 1, over 1. Okay, use your straight edge and connect. There's that one. All right, you guys do number 7. And just to double check if you did it right, you should have said m equals negative 2, and your b was 3. So you would have graphed it starting at 3. Because your slope was negative, you would fall 2, and then it's technically 2 over 1. So then I would repeat, fall 2, and then run to the right 1. So use your straight edge, and if you did it correctly, your line is going to look like that one. Okay, moving on to number 8. Number 8, it's just y equals 5. So let's write down m equals, b equals. Okay, so this one I don't see an x there, but I see my plane number in back. My plane number in back, that's my y-intercept. So I'm going to write 5. This is the same thing as saying y equals 0x plus 5. Because 0 times x is 0, it's just going to cancel out, which means you're left with just that 5. So my m is 0. Okay, so I'm going to go up on the y-axis at 5 and put a point. Now, because it's 0, a slope that is 0, you guys remember a y equals line, is just a horizontal line. You know, technically it could be 0 over 1. So 0 means you don't go up or down any, and you run to the right 1. Then repeat, you don't go up or down any, but you run to the right 1. Okay, so any y equals with no x is just going to be a horizontal line through the y-axis at whatever point it has listed. Okay, next one, x equals. We talked about those before. If you write down m equals, then you write down b equals. Okay, most x equals lines aren't going to have any y-intercepts unless it's 0, but this one's not. It's -1. So if your x equals is any number besides 0, you're not going to have a y-intercept, so we're just going to say none. Okay, an x equals line, hopefully you guys recall, we talked about those, gives you a vertical line, and a vertical line gives you that undefined slope. Okay, so to graph these, it's really easy. You just go on the x-axis at whatever number it says. So it says x equals -1, so I'm going to put a point on the x-axis at -1. And then we just make a vertical line through that point. Okay, don't forget to put your arrows on the ends. Okay, number 10, it says find, fix, and justify. Kevin was asked to graph the line y equals -1/2 x plus 1. Kevin graphed the line below and made a common error. Describe Kevin's error and then graph the line correctly on the grid. Okay, you guys go ahead and figure that one out. So hopefully you realized the error. Your B is +1, which they do have that graphed correctly, but the slope is -1/2. They end up graphing at positive slope. So you should have gone down 1 and to the right 2, and then down 1 and to the right 2. So your line should be going in opposite direction. Okay, that's what the line should look like. And that's where we're going to stop today, guys.